Good evening, friends. Welcome to my channel. So today we are going to discuss about the relations of brachial plexus. So relations of the chords of brachial plexus with the axillary artery and its branches. So today we are going to study in a different way so that you can easily practice it in your notebooks so that you can represent in the examinations easily. So let us start. And before going to see this video, please subscribe to my channel. So as we all know that the axillary artery, it is present in a oblique way like this. So I'm using this color so that you can also practice it properly. So I'm drawing this axillary artery, right sided one. So this is how the axillary artery is present. So this axillary artery, it is a continuation of subclavian artery. Remember that. So the axillary artery is a continuation of subclavian artery. So this axillary artery, it is going to divide into three parts. So which structure is separating the axillary artery into three parts? Or so here you can see that I'm drawing the Pectoralis Minor. Pectoralis Minor. Can you see that? So this is a Pectoralis Minor. So it is arising from the 3, 4, 5 ribs. It is extending upwards and it is reaching to the coracoid process. And this Pectoralis Minor is separating the axillary artery into three parts. So the first part is present above the Pectoralis Minor. And second part is present under the Pectoralis Minor. So here you can see that. Under the Pectoralis Minor, and third part is present below the Pectoralis Minor. So above first part, under second part, third part is present below the Pectoralis Minor. So this is how the Pectoralis Minor is separating the axillary artery into three different parts. So that is about the three parts. So already I have discussed about the branches of axillary artery. So the first part branch is only one, means so from the first part, one artery. So you want me to write here? Yeah, you can easily represent it. From the first part, one artery, that is superior thoracic artery. And from the second part, two arteries are coming. One is thoracoacromial artery, thoracoacromial artery. Then the second one is lateral thoracic artery, And from the third part, three branches are coming. So the three branches which are coming from the third part, one is anterior and posterior circumflex humeral arteries. Anterior circumflex humeral artery, posterior circumflex humeral artery, and also from the third part, subscapular artery. So this is how three branches, three parts. And these are the branches. From the first part, one branch. And from the second part, two branches. And from the third part, three branches. It is very easy to remember about the branches of axillary artery. Now, the picture comes. Means, many times we just often confused in the dissection point of view. How to identify that? How to identify all the chords of brachial plexus? How to identify the chords of brachial plexus and which nerve is present medial, which nerve is present lateral, which nerve is present superior, anterior, posterior. Such a confusion might be there. So I just want to show this relations of axillary artery with the chords of brachial plexus. So I am going to draw once again the axillary artery. So here you can see that this is the axillary artery. So actually in the anatomical position it is oblique in shape. When the arm is abducted, it will become straight. Okay, when the arm is abducted, the artery will become straight. In the anatomical position, it is oblique in shape. Means it is running downwards, forwards, and it is entering into the arm. So this is the axillary artery. It is a continuation of subclavian artery. Very good. Subclavian artery. So definitely medial to this, medial to the axillary artery, we can identify the axillary vein. So medial to the axillary artery, we can identify axillary vein. So can you demarcate it clearly? So I have just changed the color of this. Yeah. This is axillary artery and this is axillary vein. Now, what about the cards of brachial plexus? So I just want to show three different cards in three different colors. So from the first part of axillary artery, lateral to the first part of axillary artery, we can identify. Can you see this is a green color I am using, and this is one card that is called as lateral chord of brachial plexus. Lateral chord. So three chords are there as we have seen in our previous class: lateral chord, medial chord, and posterior chord. So two chords they are present laterally. Two chords are present laterally. I am going to show in a different color. So this is lateral chord. Another one is posterior chord. Can you see this pink color? Beautiful. Yes. So this is called as posterior chord of brachial plexus. Posterior chord of brachial plexus. Another one which is called as medial chord of brachial plexus. Medial chord, I just want to use another color called as orange. Okay. So this is the medial chord of brachial plexus. So what is the relation of the lateral chord, posterior chord, and medial chord? So I will write here. So the first part, laterally, we can identify two chords. One is lateral chord of brachial plexus, lateral chord, and posterior chord. So this is lateral chord and this is posterior chord. Clear? So lateral chord and posterior chord, they are present lateral to which part? First part of axillary artery. Then moving to the second part, here is second part is present almost, and here is the third part. Okay, so when it is coming to the second part of axillary artery, what is going to happen here is this pink one. What is this pink one? It is called as the posterior chord of brachial plexus. So this posterior chord exactly it runs posterior to the second part of axillary artery. I'm just using the dotted line so that you can find it is running posterior to the second part of axillary artery. Then comes what happens to this lateral chord? Lateral chord which is running laterally, and this lateral chord is giving a branch here. So that branch is called as musculocutaneous nerve. You can write it here. Musculocutaneous nerve. So first nerve which you can identify in the dissection is this musculocutaneous nerve. So which is a branch of lateral chord of brachial plexus. Another branch also comes here. So that is called as lateral pectoral nerve, which is piercing the clavipectoral fascia. Okay, that I am going to show you. So it is arising from the lateral chord. Before it gives branches to the musculocutaneous nerve, we can identify almost over here. That is called as lateral pectoral nerve. Lateral pectoral nerve. Okay. Remember these two nerves already have seen. That is the mnemonic which I have told you in our previous class. LML. Okay. Lateral pectoral nerve, which is coming from the lateral chord of brachial plexus, and then musculocutaneous nerve, which is coming from the lateral chord of brachial plexus after it gives branches to the lateral pectoral nerve, then the musculocutaneous nerve. The relation of the musculocutaneous nerve with the axillary artery is lateral. And then what about the posterior chord already have discussed. What about this medial chord? So this is the medial chord of brachial plexus. So this medial chord which is running posterior to the first part, I'm just showing in a dotted line. Then exactly when it comes to the second part, it runs medially. So yes, when it is coming to the second part of axillary artery, that which is running posterior to the first part, it exactly runs medial to the second part of axillary artery. Now you can see that. So the lateral chord of brachial plexus exactly present lateral to the second part. Posterior chord is present posterior to the second part. Medial chord is present medial to the second part. Exactly, the names are exactly properly fitted to them when they are running exactly at the second part of axillary artery. So second part of axillary artery, lateral to that, lateral chord, medial to that, medial chord, posterior to that, posterior chord. So this is how these relations are present. Then what happens to the other branches? Now I will explain. So what are the other structures are present here? I will explain. So from the medial chord of brachial plexus, already I have told you in our previous class, the mnemonic you have to remember is M4U, means the nerves name starts with M. The 4 nerves, the names starts with M and 1 U. So M4U. So one is medial pectoral nerve. So exactly at the level of lateral pectoral nerve, one branch is coming, that is called as medial pectoral nerve. I have just written like MPN. Okay, so medial pectoral nerve. Then other nerves are medial cutaneous nerve of arm and forearm. Okay, so I'm just drawing like this here. I'm using the black color so that we can differentiate clearly. So one nerve is running medial to, what is this? Axillary vein. And this is axillary artery. So one nerve is present medial to the axillary vein. Another nerves, 2 nerves, they are running between axillary artery and axillary vein. Okay, so can you see here? The 2 nerves are running between axillary artery and the axillary vein. So what are the 2 nerves? One is thicker, which is running posteriorly, I mean behind that, and one is running anteriorly. The thinner one is running anteriorly, which arise from the medial chord of brachial plexus. So the 2 nerves, I have shown 3 nerves here. One is medial to the axillary vein. This nerve is called as medial cutaneous nerve of arm. So how to identify that medial cutaneous nerve of the arm is, so this medial cutaneous nerve of the arm, it is going to communicate with the intercostobrachial nerve. So in the dissection, so you can easily identify after separating the pectoralis major and minor. So from the thoracic cage, we can identify one nerve is extending outwards, and it is going to communicate with a small nerve in the arm. So that nerve is called as intercostobrachial nerve. So that intercostobrachial nerve which is going to communicate with that nerve. So this nerve which is communicating with the intercostobrachial nerve, that is called as medial cutaneous nerve of arm. So what is the location of this medial cutaneous nerve of the arm? It is present medial to the axillary vein. Then other 2 nerves which are present between axillary artery, this is artery, and this is axillary vein. So between the artery and the vein, the 2 nerves are present. So the nerve which is present behind, the thicker one, is called as ulnar nerve. The thinner one, which is called as medial cutaneous nerve of forearm. I think you got 4 nerves, right? Medial pectoral nerve, then medial pectoral nerve, medial cutaneous nerve of the arm, medial cutaneous nerve of the forearm, then another one. So one is missing. So what is that? So that is called as medial root of medial chord. So what is this medial root of medial chord? I will explain now. So here, which is medial chord of brachial plexus, which is present medial to the second part of axillary artery. So here it is giving a branch called as medial root of medial cord. Medial root of medial cord. So that medial root of medial cord, and this green color one is lateral cord of brachial plexus, right? So from the lateral cord of brachial plexus, another root is coming. That root is called as lateral root of lateral cord. Okay, lateral root of lateral cord, then medial root of medial cord. This is lateral root coming from lateral cord, and this is medial root. Medial root, it is coming from medial cord. So the two roots are going to join with each other and forms a thick nerve called as the important one, and it is a very important nerve called as median nerve. So that median nerve which is forming, and it is exactly present running lateral to the third part of axillary artery. So this green color one, parrot green color one, is nothing but the median nerve. Median nerve. Hope it is clear, right? So from the lateral cord of brachial plexus, musculocutaneous element. Remember the mnemonic. One is lateral pectoral nerve, musculocutaneous nerve, then lateral root of lateral cord. Then from the medial cord, medial pectoral nerve, then medial cutaneous nerve of the arm, medial cutaneous nerve of the forearm, ulnar nerve, and medial root of median nerve. Then what about the other nerves? So which I have discussed only lateral cord and medial cord I have explained. Now I am going to show the posterior cord of brachial plexus and its branches. Yes, here I have drawn axillary artery, axillary vein. So this is axillary artery, axillary vein, and the branches of the posterior cord of brachial plexus. So from the this is the second part actually, right? Yes, this is the first part, and this is the third part. So behind the second part of axillary artery, posterior to the second part of axillary artery, you can identify all the nerves which are coming from the posterior cord of brachial plexus. This is upper subscapular and lower subscapular. So these two nerves, they are supplying to the subscapularis. Okay, and then here you can identify thoracodorsal nerve. This thoracodorsal nerve, which is going to supply to the latissimus dorsi. So they are exactly running posterior to they are rising posterior to the second part, and they are running posterior to the axillary vein, and they are running posteriorly. And why they are running posteriorly? They are going to supply to the scapular muscle. Scapula is present behind, so these nerves are supplying to the upper subscapular, lower subscapular. They are supplying to the subscapularis, and then the latissimus thoracodorsally, which is going to supply to the latissimus dorsi. And then the axillary nerve, this is called as axillary nerve. So this axillary, which is a small part we can identify in the axilla, then rest of the nerve we can see under the deltoid. After separating the anterior fibers, lateral fibers, and posterior fibers of deltoid, under the deltoid we can identify this axillary nerve. So this axillary nerve, which is running posteriorly and encircling the surgical neck of humerus along with a vessel. So this vessel is called as posterior circumflex humeral artery. So axillary nerve is running along with this posterior circumflex humeral artery. These two structures, they are encircling the surgical neck of humerus. So this posterior circumflex humeral artery encircling the surgical neck, and it is running anteriorly again. It is going to anastomose with the anterior circumflex humeral artery. Anterior circumflex humeral artery. So this is how all the nerves are arising. Another one, last one, which is a very important nerve called as radial nerve. Okay, so radial nerve. So this radial nerve also, we can identify the small part which is arising from the posterior to the second part of axillary artery. So this nerve which leaves the neurovascular bundle first. So we can identify so many vessels, arteries are there, then branches of the axillary artery, then the tributaries of this axillary vein, then all the branches of the lateral cord, posterior cord, and medial cord. All this neurovascular bundle is present. This nerve, the radial nerve, which leaves the neurovascular bundle first, then it enters into the lower triangular space, whereas this axillary nerve enters into the quadrangular space. So this radial nerve, which is running down and leaves the neurovascular bundle and runs behind the humerus, and it runs into the spiral groove which is present posterior to the shaft of humerus, posterior surface of shaft of humerus. It is having a groove. On the groove, this radial nerve is running. So what is the relation of this axillary artery with the posterior cord branches? All are present posterior to the second part of axillary artery. So at the lower part of the first part, where we can identify upper subscapular, lower subscapular, then exactly posterior to the second part, we can identify axillary, radial, and also this thoracodorsal nerve. So that is about the branches of three cords of brachial plexus and its relations with the axillary artery. So that is about the relations, my dear friends. So I think this class is bit little easily understand, we can easily represent in the examination. So in the next class, I'm going to explain about the other relations of axillary artery and its branches. So till then, see you soon with a new class. Bye bye.